All right. Hello, you guys. Welcome back to literally we're back. And it's crazy. And I'm super, super, super excited. I need to position myself better so you can see this cute logo. My mom is set designer. And she loves her job. Okay. So hi, everybody. How is everyone doing? I am doing very great. I want to do a little weekly recap. It is Monday, May 17th, so about 2 days before you guys are listening. And exactly when you guys are listening, exactly a week ago, I went live with my first podcast. And the amount of support that I got was insane, and I honestly wasn't expecting it. I was setting my standards pretty low, to be honest with you guys, just because I didn't really want to get ahead of myself in a way, because I didn't just want to let myself down. So I kind of set my standards pretty low and really was expecting not many people to listen. But a lot of you guys came in and supported, and a lot of my beautiful family and friends came in and supported, which I'm so grateful for. And it just made me a lot more excited for this, because I am seeing, and not like I'm seeing exactly who's listening, but I'm seeing the numbers and I'm seeing the listens on Spotify. We did have some complications last week about Apple Podcasts. I kept saying Apple Music on the podcast also, which was you're not Lil Wayne, bro. What? Lil Wayne. It's Lil Wayne. You're not Lil Wayne. What? Why am I thinking of Lil Wayne right now? Fetty Wap. I don't know why I was thinking I was about to drop a EP or something. I meant Apple Podcasts. So, as of right now, my first episode is available on Spotify and YouTube, which is kind of cool seeing my little name on Spotify, to be honest with you. But it is currently available on there. Just wanted to clear that up before we got into the podcast. And we're working on Apple Podcasts. But moving on, about my week. So like I said, I wasn't really expecting the amount of people to come in and support me, which was super cool. And it makes me very excited for this pod, because I don't know, I just think I'm gonna let you guys in a lot more. And I say that, but I recorded this episode a couple days ago, and if you guys do not know, didn't read the title, it's To All the Boys I've Liked Before, so we're gonna really dive into that later. But I wanted to give you guys a little bit of weekly recap, just because that's kind of what I want my structure to be, just a life update, so I don't have to be making update podcasts every once in a while. If I just update you guys in small portions, it's less heavy. Also, maybe nobody cares, so if you guys don't care to listen to this part, please let me know. I'm accepting all constructive criticism. I actually got pretty good feedback. Anyways, so this past week I was camping, and like I mentioned before, I expected everything that was happening, to be honest with you. You really do sit there, chill, hang out by the fire, and that's pretty much it. I just wasn't expecting myself to not shower, and I showered. Don't think I'm a disgusting pig. I showered and I washed my hair, and these damn Amazon lights literally suck. Okay, I'm gonna buy new ones. So this past week I showered. I went camping twice for 3 days, and I showered one of those days, and that's disgusting. I like to shower every single day. I wash my hair every single day. I came back home and there's freaking I'm gonna cuss. Sorry guys. And again, if you guys are older people in my life, please don't look at me any differently. I swear to God, I'm still an angel and still awesome. I'm just growing up. Anyways, there were sticks in my hair, branches, not huge branches, but there's little sticks in my hair when I was showering when I came back home, which I know it's kind of disgusting. Did you not brush your hair? No, I didn't brush my hair, but there was literal branches. On my way home, a dog, Winston, he's a French bulldog and he's so cute, threw up all over my freaking leggings. Yoga pants, and there were white ones. So I had dog vomit all over me on my way back home. I was literally livid. My sister's taking photos of me and asking me to do favors for her while I have literal dog vomit down my leg. So it was kind of a rough trip. Will I do it again? Absolutely. Will I need to be at least 10 to 15 yards from a shower. Also, absolutely. But it was a great experience. We went to Pismo Beach and it was awesome. And then after I got home, I went to a Dodger game. And I don't want you guys to think that I'm doing all of these things because I don't care about the world. Like, I am vaccinated. I'm fully vaccinated. It was my decision. If you guys don't agree with that, I completely understand. That's your opinion. But I did decide to get vaccinated. And if you guys, I really recommend getting vaccinated. It's one step forward, guys. So I did get vaccinated, and then I went to a Dodger game in the fully vaccinated area, and the tickets were super cheap, and it was just like a cool experience because we were around a bunch of people that were also fully vaccinated. You have to prove that you're vaccinated, and then I don't know, you just sat. It was just like a real sporting event. It was awesome. It was really cool. So we went to a Dodger game, and then what else did I do? That was Friday. Saturday, I went to Jonah's from David Dobrik's Vlogs, his restaurant that he just opened up. It was delicious. They were super, super sweet. The whole family, I've never seen them, so their family was absolutely amazing and super, super sweet. So I really recommend you guys going to Jonah's Kebabs. It was just a good atmosphere. And I don't know, I liked it. And then yesterday or was that Sunday? I have no idea. I've lost a track of days. That's what happens during summer, which I'm not complaining. I just lose my track of days. But that was pretty much my weekly recap. I cried. I didn't cry this week, actually, which was impressive. But when I start crying, I'll let you guys know. But kind of just jumping into this topic, like I mentioned before, my life is very, very messy in certain aspects. Definitely messy. I am, like I said, a 20-year-old in college trying to figure out life, and I don't think there's a worse combination. Literally 20, it doesn't get any worse. So I am figuring out life, and when it comes to figuring out life, it kind of comes with boys and dating, or girls, or whatever you decide. But boys, and that's just kind of what comes along with it. If you guys don't know of me from the past, I'm going to get into it a lot more next week. But briefly, I grew up on a YouTube show. And basically my relationship from high school was broadcasted all throughout my process on the show. Which I'm not complaining. It was completely positive, like I said. But my relationship was broadcasted. So a lot of you guys know and love my ex-boyfriend. And he's great. His family is great. I love them. We had our moment on camera, and that's why you guys really grew with us, and you guys kind of became attached to the relationship. So every time you hear me or see me talking about, I'm just going to say his name because everybody knows I'm talking about Isaac. Everybody just loves him and loves us. So it was really cool just having that experience on camera, but it was a very real relationship. I'm just kind of diving in. I'm not going to go too into depth about the boys I've talked to because I just want to keep it a little bit respectful. And I had recorded this podcast once before and kind of was taking it a little bit too far. Nothing negative at all. I have nothing bad to say about any of these guys, really. I mean, if I liked them at one point in my life, then they must have been somewhat decent humans. So I don't know how in depth I'm going to go into about the boys I've talked to, just because it can get messy pretty quickly, and I just don't want that drama right now. I'm just I'm in such a good headspace where I really don't want any issues, nor do I think they would really care. But Isaac's going to be the only person that I'm name dropping just because him and I are still close and we still are friends. So I know what I'm saying about what I'm going to say about him is going to be respectful. So, but all the rest of the other guys, I will not be dropping their names just out of respect to them, and also because they've never asked to be on camera or anything. So I don't want to put their business out there. Continuing on, so my high school relationship, I was about 15 to 18, about 19. I think I just had turned 19. So it was a long relationship, about 3 years, and we had that was a great relationship. He was really good to me. And he would always bring me flowers and stuff. And he was a really good boyfriend. And then the breakup came, and Isaac and I never really had our moment of breaking up. I mean, I think we just like left off as friends, which I really enjoyed just because we had all those memories in the past, and I would have hated for like all of that to be tainted with something bad. So we pretty much for the most part kept it very mature. I did have my moments of being petty, and I will admit that, and I was young, literally not young, like a year ago, but I was dumb, and I made just, I don't know, but it worked both ways. Like, you know, when you have that moment with your ex and it's like you're trying to make the other jealous and then they're doing the same thing. We kind of had that moment, but I think we both grew from it. And I mean, him and I are still cool. We hang out and, you know, catch up and talk every now and then. Not every now and then. Isaac and I talk all the time. Continuing on, nothing really bad to say about him. He's a good kid, smart kid, great family. I literally love them more than anything. Great at baseball. I mean, well-rounded kid. It was just pretty, I mean, I guess I could just get into the breakup now. So our breakup pretty much was, again, I'm not supposed to be on my phone, sorry. Our breakup basically was because I was 300 miles away and he was doing his own thing at San Diego. And I mean, it was just like, it's not that we couldn't make it work. It's that I wanted to have my moment, and so did he. Not like moment to be like, you know, like talking to everybody, but just like kind of grow a little bit. So I definitely wanted to have my moment, and he did as well. It was kind of a mutual breakup. We just kind of were like, all right, we're cool, but like this is it. And I still, like I said, we still continue to keep in contact. And that was pretty much our breakup. I think a lot of people were expecting. I don't know if I've ever really gone into it, but I feel like a lot of people were kind of going into it or thinking that it was something bad, but it was pretty much just like college and like distance, and then that was it. But I mean, I would love to have Isaac on the podcast sooner or later. So if he ever wants to come on, I would love that. So you guys could kind of get that perspective of an ex-boyfriend, and I mean, yeah, like an ex-boyfriend and I still having a relationship, which I think would be really cool. So everybody go bully him into getting on the podcast. I've mentioned it to him and he said he's down, but let's see if he actually comes on. All right. So after my breakup with Isaac, I was single. I mean, I wasn't really dating. I wasn't talking to anybody for maybe about 2 months, and then I went on a date with this guy, and I'm going to go into depth about this one just because like it's going to be hard to spot, but I went on a date with this guy, and it was literally one day, and he was super, super, super cute and tall, and like he was a TikToker, and he had like probably 1 million. Oh, no, at the time he had like no followers, but now he has like 1 million or like a million, over 1 million followers, and he was super cute and super sweet guy. And then when we went on a date, I was just like, was not there mentally. I was kind of like handling family situations, and I had to keep walking out. And like, I know that's really like rude and like inappropriate, but family always comes first in my life. And if someone's like not okay, whatever. If someone's like not okay, then I'm going to have to put them first over this random guy I met for the first time. So that was kind of the situation that I was in. And I mean, it just didn't end up working out. We went on a date, we watched a movie, and he was like super, super sweet, like great guy. And then we went to In-N-Out and then Dutch Bros. And then, this is disgusting, and I really don't know why I'm putting this out into the world because I've only told a handful of people this. But like I said, I want to be really open and honest with you guys. So on this date, I was a freshman, so it was probably like December, November of college, my freshman year, and I was cooking dinner, and not for the date, just for myself, because I would never cook dinner for a guy on the first date. Absolutely not, catch me dead. But I was cooking dinner, and something flew into my eye, and it was disgusting. I was like cooking like pork or something, I'm not sure, and then it got infected, and I got pink eye. I got pink eye at 20 years old, 19, 20 years old. I got pink eye at 20 years old. And it's not something that I'm proud of, but you know what? The worst part is that I went on the date with this guy, with pink eye. And like I could have, like, pink eye only lasts like 3 days. And I could have just waited and been like, can we reschedule? Like, but I think I had canceled on him like so many times that it wasn't able to be like something that I could reschedule. So I went on this date with pink eye. And mind you, while I'm walking out, handling like phone calls, I was reapplying eye drops. Which is disgusting. And like, I don't understand why I did that. That was a low moment in my life. And then it gets worse. So we go to In-N-Out and he's like, let's go inside. And I was like, okay. Mind you, I've been in the car for about 45 minutes and I can't apply eye drops in the middle of a date. So I had to go eye dropless for a bit. And then he asks me in the middle of In-N-Out why my eyes were red. And I said, sir, it's because I'm tired. It was 11 p.m. It was probably earlier. So that was a low moment in my life. And I just hope he never listens to this or ever. I don't know. That's pretty disgusting. I will never do that again. So if any of the guys that I'm talking to ever hear this, I will cancel the date if I have pink eye. Moving on. Then I didn't really date for a while. I didn't talk to anybody in my freshman year. I mean, there's guys that would like come and go, but nothing that like ever really caught my eye. And then quarantine comes along. And everyone's bored and everyone's sitting at home and living their life. And of course, I just can't be chill. So I talked to a Marine. He was so cute. He was such a sweet guy. I hope he's not listening to this. Right when quarantine started, I was supposed to come home and see him. And then just didn't end up working. The whole world shut down the weekend I was going to come see him. We had like constant plans to kind of see each other. It never really ended up working out. So I kind of let it go. He calls me every now and then. And I kind of love it. It's kind of a Dear John situation. But I mean, just recently, on Saturday, he had reached out. I was like, oh, hi. But no, that Marine phase of mine is over. Maybe when he is no longer in the Marines, I will maybe be a little interested. But I had that phase. It was very weird, very uncertain. I really don't know what else to say about them. My brother, whatever. So I had that phase. He lives in North Carolina now. And his family lives in Texas. And I'm being super obvious about who this. No one's gonna know him actually. But I met him in November of 2019, and then we started talking like February of 2020, and then March came around and the whole world shut down. So that was the situation. That was the Marine I talked to for like ever. Probably like February to like I want to say like July, August, maybe even September. I'm not really sure. No, January. Like this past January, because I was supposed to see him in January. And then after I didn't see him in January, I totally gave up. And I was like, okay, I'm making the effort and you're not complying, so I'm over it. But that was a weird time in my life. I honestly don't recommend Marines. I do know a lot of them just because my brother is a Marine and he always has friends over, and they're fun. They're a good time. I really didn't talk to the guy for a long time, or see him, but they were a lot of fun. So, learning experience for sure. And then I went to school, still not talking to anybody, and then I started talking to somebody, and great guy. Really not much to say about him either. He was very interesting, super sweet kid, like super, super sweet for like the first couple months. I started talking to him, and he's a guy that went to my school, and he's an athlete. I'm sure you guys can take your guesses. But I'm not going to really go into depth about personal things about him because, again, I don't really think that they want to have their business out there. And I'm also hoping that they don't listen to this podcast. So that guy I started talking to him in August. And then, long story short, he asked me for my Snapchat in maybe November. He would like slide up on my stories on Instagram all the time. And I would kind of entertain it just because he like was cute and like, I don't know, he was cute. And like, I was like, okay, let's entertain it. And also he was like an athlete. So I was like, okay, like you're cute and an athlete, so let's try it out. So I would entertain it, but I never made the first move to really ask for like a Snapchat or anything. And then he asked me for my Snapchat and we started talking for about a month. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I was not into it, like at all. Like and I'm sorry if you're listening to this, like in the beginning I wasn't into it, but then when we started talking, that's a different story. But in the beginning I was not into it at all. I started talking to him in like November and then just kind of leaving him on red and stuff and like not fully invested. And then I came home for about 3 weeks in November because I got COVID. And then Thanksgiving break came along. So then I went home and then I went back to school and he invited me to a party that his team was throwing. And I was like, okay. So none of my friends were home and I had to drag my roommate out. Well, not that I had to. Well, no, I had to force her out. I was like, please come with me. We'll be there for an hour. Let's just go. And I want to meet him. So then we go and we hit it off. And then after that, it was literally a shit show. Towards the end. When we were talking, though, was really great and awesome. It just got messy towards the end a little bit. Just because I guess he had a girlfriend. And I had no idea. But then, like, I asked him about it, and then he told me he didn't have a girlfriend, but then, like, his friend said he did, so then he was like, I don't understand why he's saying that, like, I don't have a girlfriend. I was like, okay. And then, long story short, I'm pretty positive he had a girlfriend, although he was denying it the whole relationship, but I kind of backed away, and kind of so did he, but we were still kind of talking. It just was never made clear. Then another, like, party, then another party came, and the teammate came up to my friend and was like, oh, he's single. So you're like, I have no idea. I just had figured he was single the whole time. That's where I just get a little bit confused. But whatever. Super cool dude. Super good at baseball. Nothing but respect for him either. He was great. Whatever. Couple more guys during my sophomore year of high school. Nothing like too important or nothing too crazy. Couple I just don't want to really, there's a couple professional athletes that like were in the DMs, and I don't know what it is about athletes, specifically baseball, but professional athletes would come in and they're cute, but I never took it anywhere else other than like Instagram. And maybe I'll get into that more. I want to kind of explore the professional athlete field. I'm kind of done with collegiate baseball players. Unless, I'm just joking. No, I'm not done with them. They're the best. But I wanted to make this second portion of the episode kind of an advice session for boys. Just, like, not for boys, but, like, boy problems. So, I wanted to kind of get into this topic for a little bit. Boys, I know a lot of you guys are in the same age range that I am, and I like to kind of pat myself on the back for being a good advice giver. Like I said before, I'm not good at taking the advice. I would rather make my own decision, even though it's the bad and wrong decision. I'm not saying my decision making is great at all. It's not good. But I think I give my friends pretty good advice, and they don't take it either, though, which is like shocking because people are paying millions of dollars for this advice. I'm just joking, but let's get kind of into it. So I went to my Instagram story and asked you guys what you wanted to hear, or what advice you needed from me, or just like situations, and I'm kind of going to go through them. I'm not going to go through all of them, unfortunately, just because I would be here for like 72 hours and nobody wants to hear my voice for that long. So we're going to be here for a second and kind of just give you guys advice. I'm going to be as real and honest with you as I can and like kind of give it to you from my experience, which have never really been good. So let's see what I got. But let's get started. So first question. What's the best way to come about the what are we question? So I don't love asking the what are we question. I don't think I've asked that question to any of the guys that I've been talking to, just because I don't want to be like looked, I don't know, that's just my personal preference. I don't ask a guy what are we. I'll ask them where they're at, but like it's only if like it's very serious and like we've been talking for a long time. I'll ask them where they're at, but I'll never ask what are we. So I have no advice for you for this one. I just think that like if you approach that question in a way where it might be too soon or something, it might scare him off and might be like, this girl is crazy and I need to go. So I'm sorry, but I cannot help you with the what are we question. I just refuse to ask it just because I'm in fear of rejection. Continuing on. What would you do if their mom got into the relationship and wanted things her way? Literally kill me before this ever happens. I think it's like one thing to have the support from your parents and stuff, and also have a relationship with their parents and family, because I think that's huge. Probably like one of the biggest things in a relationship. When you get along with your family, it's awesome, and it makes the experience 10 times better. But I feel like the second that like family starts like overstepping into decisions about the relationship, that's where it gets messy. I honestly don't even think I would ever have to deal with that. Like if it wanting it done her way, that's like very odd. I don't think a mom would actually do that unless like you are like a mom that's like insane and super controlling. But I mean, again, like this advice is not good, but I don't think I would. I mean, I think I would deal with it just because I loved being like loved by parents. But like, I don't know, that's very odd, and I would probably start crying, especially if the mom didn't like me or the dad didn't like me. So like, you can't really disrespect the mom's decision. I mean, but always mom knows best. So that's also a good point. Do you have a boyfriend? I don't have a boyfriend. Like I said, I'm talking to guys. I am really doing my own thing and like living my life and not really worried about like any guy right now. But I do like some boys. Not like talking. I don't know. I'm not sure what you call it. How do we get over a guy that we never even dated? Literally kill me. I've dealt with a couple of these. One fairly recently. And I just think like as much as you're gonna be like, wah, 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 again, my life is so hard. Like, you guys, I don't know what it was. I just like would be fully invested in this guy. And then like the next day I was like, okay. And then the next day I'm like, I'm over it. Not actually the next day. It was like a couple weeks. But I mean, I was just watching Hannah Malicious video and she said the only way to get through it is to get through it. So kind of take it day by day. I mean, if he never really wanted to make it official with you, that means he really didn't like you that much. Sorry to be harsh, but he never really liked you that much. So I know it hurts to hear, but let's get over it and let's get with somebody that will like you that much and want to be official with you. I'm hurting my own feelings right now. Got it. Can you be friends with an ex even though it's been 2 years? Even though it's been 2 years since you guys broke up? Absolutely. I think I'm doing it to a certain extent. I mean, feelings are always going to be there and involved, at least on my end. I'm going to assume, that's what I get for assuming though, 'cause sometimes my feelings get hurt, but I'm going to assume that feelings are there for like their end, just because it's hard to not. But I think it's possible. Just being chill. I learned, my biggest lesson that I learned from being friends with my ex is not really being super like anal about things you can't control. And it's like they're gonna make the decisions that they're gonna want to make, and that's it. So stop crying about it and like move on with your life. You know what I mean? Next question they asked, I was talking to a boy. He told me he wanted to focus on baseball. That's your first red flag, girl. That's your first red flag. But I wasn't toxic. Advice, please. I was talking to a boy. He told me he wanted to focus on baseball, but I wasn't toxic. Advice, please. I mean, give them their space. If they're asking you for space or something else to focus on, let them go. And I promise you, like my mom will always say, they always come back. Always come back. So let him go, girl. And if he wants to focus on a sport, which I agree, because baseball is actually a lot of fun. But if he wants to focus on a sport, then he's going to make that decision, and that means he's not going to be fully invested in your life. So why do you want to be a second option? And I promise you, if you like are mature about the situation and approach it in a very like mature way and be like, okay, absolutely, I completely get it. If you want to come back soon, let me know. And if not, I'm sorry. It was nice meeting you. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Okay, next question. How do you introduce a boy to your family, cousins, and family friends, etc.? I mean, I pretty much met all of my ex-boyfriend's family. I think they liked me, unless they didn't, and like that's super embarrassing that I'm even talking right now, but I'm pretty sure they liked me. How do you introduce them? I just kind of brought him along. We were super young. We were like 15, 16, so like we still needed rides on our... Stop, I'm so embarrassed. We still needed rides to our dates, you know what I mean? So like we had to kind of introduce our families. I met his family before we went to our homecoming, and we went to the mall and like went to lunch, and it was so cute and like innocent and fun, and like I was so nervous. I was literally like about to like start crying because I was so nervous. And I think Isaac met my family like at dinner or something, so it was pretty casual. I mean, just bring him along and be like, hey, this is my boyfriend. Unless your parents are like super strict. But I mean, my parents were cool, and like I feel like his parents were like also cool, so I think we got lucky. Tips for long distance. So I did long distance for about a month, and I totally think I could have made it work, and I think he could have as well. But I mean just keeping in contact and having like communication constantly is going to be very like super helpful. Also, like having a set date to see each other again, to have something to look forward to, is also huge, and I think that would make, you know, the time away from each other a lot easier. And also like not being super controlling and being like, where are you, who are you with, like what is happening, all this stuff. Like give them their space and kind of trust them a little bit. And this is my biggest advice. Like if someone's gonna cheat on you, and I hate to be this person, but if someone's gonna cheat on you, they're gonna cheat on you. If there's a will, there's a way. And that's what I tell people in my life. If there's a will, there's a way, and they're gonna cheat if they want to cheat. So if he's gonna cheat on you, I hate to say it, but like I'm sorry. So like again, that's where it comes to. Stop like wanting to control other people when you just can't. So I mean, give them their space. Make sure you guys are talking like every day, but not every single minute, every single moment of the day, because that gets exhausting for both of you. And still make sure you're still going out, enjoying your time out, because you don't want to waste your life. So I talked to my boyfriend. So my boyfriend hasn't talked to me. This is me. This question is me. So my boyfriend hasn't... Sorry, I'm laughing. That's so rude, but like I totally relate. So my boyfriend hasn't talked to me for like 1 week. Do you think that like we're still dating? I mean, if it's like your actual boyfriend, that's extremely concerning. Like, how did you just go a week without talking to me? I probably would say no. If you guys, I mean, it just depends on the situation. Maybe you got his phone taken away or something. Because, like, I know a lot of people aren't, like, fully back at school. But if my boyfriend, like, ghosted me for a week, I would say, no, we're not dating anymore. Because you just ghosted me. Right? I have no idea. How do you avoid being awkward in a relationship in high school? Those are such weird times. Like, they're such cringy, just like weird times. I see my Snapchat memories and I'm like, why did I do that? I mean, there's no tips for it. It's just it's just like the circle of life. It happens, you get over it, and then you move on. Like, you're gonna be awkward. It's totally fine. It's totally normal. You just like kind of grow up later in time. I think I was super awkward my freshman and sophomore year. Not necessarily with boys, but like I would just like say and like do questionable things that was like, why are you doing that, girl? But then my junior and senior year came along, and I think it was probably because I was like comfortable with my boyfriend maybe. But I don't really think I would have been awkward with guys by that time. So maybe it's just like a growing up thing. Is it okay to keep talking to your ex? I think it's okay until it hurts you more than it does good. And I think a lot of like my friends that are like still in the same situation, the second it starts doing you more harm than good, then step away from it. But I mean, if it's good and it's healthy and it's fun, I think it's fine. Tips to move on after years in a relationship. Focusing on yourself. I think a lot of people jump in really like right into the next person, which gets exhausting, and you never really have that full time to be by yourself, which is a big flaw. And unfortunately, I don't like want to stereotype, but I'm going to stereotype. I feel like it happens a lot in men, and they are quicker to be impulsive and just jump into their next relationship, which is never good. Like, you need to have a moment to yourself, or else you'll never fully recover from the last relationship, and then you come with baggage for your next one. That seemed a little bit direct. I'm kidding. I'm joking. It's just like common knowledge. Thoughts about sliding into guys' DMs. Should we take that risk? Absolutely. 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 Please. I have slid into guys' DMs. I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's personally so, I mean, I think it's powerful. I feel like it's like not many girls are doing it, unless everybody's doing it. But I'm going to let you guys into my secret. If you guys are not confident in sliding into DMs, I get it. I've had that moment. I haven't done it a bunch of times. I've done it maybe, I want to say like probably twice, 3 times, but it's worked every time. But this tactic that I do, which when I slide into guys' DMs, I'm usually just like, hey, casual, like it's whatever. But this is the game that I play, and it's worked every single time. And I'm letting you guys know, and if any of my boyfriends ever hear this, they're gonna know that I play this tactic on every single guy. But it works every single time. It works. And I've told my friends to do it, and it's worked for them. Like, okay, let's get into it. If you're too scared to slide into a guy's DMs, this is what you do. You go on their Instagram, and if you've already liked all their photos, unlike the photos, you go on their Instagram and you like, I'm going to go ahead with like 2 photos. You like 2 photos, but never let it be the most recent one. Because if it was the most recent one and they just posted like 4 days ago, they're going to be like, oh, like the feed kind of messed up. So I would do, if you're on my YouTube, you're going to get a visible, I have no idea, I'm an idiot, representation of what to do. But if you are on audio, so you're gonna like I'm gonna say like first row, third picture, second row, first picture. So like the third, I would say like the third and fifth most recent, or the third or fourth most recent. And it works every single time. Because then, this is what they do. They will either slide into the DMs being like, hi, right after, or they will like 1 or 2 photos of yours. And then, this is where it gets tricky. Not actually at all, because all men are the same and they have one brain, apparently. You go in and you like another photo, just one. I haven't done this in a while, actually. I would go like 1 or 2. 1 or 2 more. It depends on how many they like. They will usually go in and like 2 of the same of yours, and then you just go in like like one or two again. And then by that point, they will DM you. And then they'll say, hi, or hey, or what are you doing, or whatever. They'll slide into your DMs. And then, if that doesn't work, and they still go into the liking game, and they're still liking photos after probably, this is now like an even time, like 2 for 2, like you've liked twice and they're on the second turn, then you can either like some more, which that's when it gets lengthy. They usually will DM after the second round of likes before they even like your photos. But if it does end up happening, push comes to shove, you shoot them with so how long are we going to be playing this? Okay, I started my words because I need to hurry. They go with you hit them with how long are we going to be playing this liking game? And I know it sounds so stupid, and like people that are like older than me are going to be like, what the fuck are you guys doing? But I swear to God, it's worked for every single one of my friends. And the only friend that it didn't work on was one of my close friends, and it was just because he had a girlfriend, but we had no idea he had a girlfriend because she wasn't on the Instagram or tagged photos, so trust me, we didn't know. But then we saw him at the party, and then they were together, so that's why he didn't work for her. But literally, it's worked for every single one of the guys that I've tried on. Not that many, but that's my tip. I totally agree. Go into the DMs, slide in, do your thing, girl, because it's a confidence booster. You know when guys slide into your DMs, and you're like, oh, he's cute. That's what guys think, and not many girls are doing it. I'm going to answer a couple more because it's getting a little lengthy, and we're like 20 minutes in, and I think I'm going to do a part 2 to this episode. Maybe I'll do it with the guy in the podcast. But let's continue. He ghosted me, LOL, on a random Wednesday. Same. I'm just joking. Happens, girl. On to the next. I like a guy, but he gives mixed signals. Then I think you should be honest with him. Just be like, hey, I like you. Where are you at? Then he hits you with I just want to be friends. You're like, oh, thank God. That's exactly what I was thinking. I just want to be friends too. And then you walk away and cry, but don't ever let him see you cry. Do you recommend dating around before you're settling down? My mom would say yes. My sister would say yes, but I don't know. I didn't really do the whole like dating around. Like I talked to guys, but like it took a lot for me to actually hang out with them. So I don't think I ever really like dated around. But yeah, I do recommend dating around just because like you get to see your different options and like you get to see what you do like and what you don't like. And I think like your 20s are the perfect age to be dating around. And then I'm going to need to wrap up this podcast pretty soon because we're like 2 takes in now and I need to stop. Continuing on. What do you think the main reason is for breakups? I'm going to do rapid fire communication. How do you try to miss someone? How do you try not to miss someone you used to talk to? You heal along with time. It's going to suck and you're going to be sad about it. But with time, it's literally going to be completely fine. What do you think about guys following / liking other girls' pics? I think if it's like Madison Beer or like Summer Rae or like some Instagram baddie, who cares? I don't think Summer Rae or Madison Beer wants your local hometown boy, to be honest with you. So that I don't really care about. If it's like a girl that you're like hometowns with, I would be like, okay, if it's like consecutively liking, I don't know. If it's something that's like consecutive and like reoccurring, then I'd be like, okay, what? Like, that's weird. And then if it just keeps happening, then that's weird. But I don't really know. I feel like old me used to really like care about that, but like I don't think I would anymore for some reason. But I mean, I think like liking Twitter selfies and Twitter things are so much more serious. But Instagram and stuff, like, I don't really care. You know what I mean? Have you ever been rejected or rejected somebody else? I've rejected people. I saw this thing on TikTok and it said, I've gotten every single guy I've liked, but I've not been able to keep them. Which, like, it's not like I ever wanted to keep some of them. Actually, every guy that I've wanted to keep, I've pretty much kept. But I've been rejected in my life, like, for sure, 100%. But it wasn't like anything like ever serious enough for me to be like, my life sucks. You know what I mean? Like, I can't even think about I mean, but I also haven't shot my shot that many times. But I have for sure been rejected, I'm sure. Like 100% positive. I just don't remember specific people because obviously they weren't that important in my life if I can't remember them. How do you know when it's a real one? I don't know. I'm 20 years old. I barely know what I'm going to do tomorrow. I do not know when it's the one. How do you tell a boy to respect your boundaries without arguing? You should never, ever, 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 ever have to argue about somebody respecting your boundaries. If they're not going to respect your boundaries the first time you tell them, then drop them. And you should never be in an argument with somebody. You should never be arguing about anything when it comes to respecting your boundaries. You should tell them once. It should be one and done. And if they don't, drop. Why do boys think they're not good enough? Girl, what boys are you talking to? Because all my boyfriends think they're too good. And I'm like, no, sir, no. It comes along with insecurity, for sure. A lot of guys are very insecure and they like to mask it. But then, like, when they think they're not good enough either, it's like, well, now that you're saying it, I'm really getting to think it now. When guys are like, I'm sad, you don't like me. Yes, you're completely correct, sir. And you adding to this is making it 100% more correct. So don't do that, boys. Any guys are listening, don't be like a pick me boy. Don't be like, where's my hug? Do you like me? Like, no. Like, that makes me, like, cringe. I'm currently talking to a guy. I told my ex not to worry about while we were dating. Good or bad? Absolutely horrible. I mean, it depends on how your ex did you. If your ex was, like, cheating and being dirty, then fair ground. But if it was a respectful relationship, I don't think that's very cool, to be honest with you, just because, I mean, you guys had that love for each other at one point. And also, like, imagine if the tables were turned and, like, your ex did that to you. Like, you went your whole relationship like, oh, don't worry about it. But, I mean, also you're single, so it's really fair ground, I guess. But it just depends on how the relationship ended and who that guy is. And if it's, like, I don't know, that gets really sticky. And then that's where, like, resentment starts to build up and it gets messy. Why do you think it's okay to stop trying when the relationship becomes official? I have no idea. Maybe because they're, like, comfortable now. So that's why you have to keep them on their toes. You have to be a little bit crazy. Like, a little bit. Like, men love crazy, but, like, not when you're, like, a psycho. So, I mean, my ex-boyfriend was pretty good about, like, still putting in effort and, like, making me feel special during the relationship. So I don't really have advice for that. Just because I was, like, lucky, I guess. I don't know. Have you ever met someone but at the wrong time, and how did you deal with it? No, because I feel like everything happens for a reason. But, I mean, me questioning, I don't know. I'm being so bad right now. How can you tell if a guy is being sweet or just flirty? I mean, that's where it gets sticky. It's like, wait, you're kind of cute, like, you're kind of flirting with me, and then he's like, no, I'm just like this. So, I mean, it's just kind of reading the room. I feel like if you see them being flirty with, like, everybody else in the room, there's your sign. But if it's like they're kind of turning their eye to Becky over there to the right, then maybe you're just the one that's only girl. But I'm going to have to wrap it up because it did get a little bit long, and I'm not sure how long I really want to make these podcasts. But I wanted to save some questions for a future guest. And I want to have a couple of my guy friends on just to do a podcast focusing on questions for guys that girls are too afraid to ask was basically a topic I want to do soon. So I feel like a lot of those questions could be applicable to my guy friends. But for now, I am going to wrap this up. If you guys are not following me on my Instagram already or my YouTube, hi YouTube again, go ahead and follow me. It's Airam Gallegos. Both of them. But yeah, go ahead and follow me on there. I'm posting pretty much weekly on my Instagram story. I'm posting my Instagram story pretty much every single day. but then like once a week. Usually I don't know what days of the week I'm going to be asking for questions, but just make sure you're following me so you can kind of be in the loop of everything. But I will be asking you guys weekly for, input on the podcast, what you guys want to hear, questions for guests. And yeah, so I am, like I said before, so appreciative of you guys for listening in and kind of supporting the podcast a little bit. I hope you guys stick along. I am super grateful for all of you. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Like literally, I will see you next week. Okay, I love your guys' faces. Everybody, please behave.